Now we want to bring in CBS News foreign policy and national security contributor H.R. McMaster for some more analysis on this situation in Russia. Okay, how can we capitalize on the civil unrest that is evolving and this new messaging that we're hearing from Prigozhin?
Hi, Lily. Hi, Tony. It's great to be with you. Hey, well, this is really a vitally important, I think, time, and you're right that I think that we should capitalize on it, and I think one of the ways is to work from the outside in, to talk to some of these countries that have been on the fence, or to talk to countries that had maybe servile relationships with Vladimir Putin, and I'm thinking even the broker of this deal, Lukashenko in Belarus, for example, or in Central Asia, or in Southeastern Europe, or in Africa. I mean, I think I think we can even say to our Indian friends, "Hey, look, I know you've been trying to hedge with Russia, and with Putin, but this guy is problematic in terms of his grip on power. The sense of his invincibility is I think is fatally shaken, and I think what you're seeing, Lily, is just the beginning of what will be more and more dissent. I mean, I think the statistic is that 20% of Russians know someone who was mobilized for this illegal war and who has been killed in Ukraine. So I think there's a real sense that Putin's destroying the country.
You know, General, the reason all this matters acutely to Americans is because we are funding a significant portion of Ukraine's defense, and this has implications for the continued war there. And one of the possible ones, it would seem now that there's this buildup of the Wagner or Wagner group troops in Belarus, is that they're repositioned to attack cities in western Ukraine. Is that a worry?
I think it's a concern, but it's really a longer-term concern. I don't think that they could marshal sufficient forces in time to have a significant tactical or operational effect. And I think really, obviously, one of the ways to capitalize on this now for the Ukrainians is to do everything they can to seize and exploit the initiative on the battlefield as well in the East. And I'm sure you're hearing the reports today that there have been some local successes. But just think about this from a Russian soldier perspective, right? You're looking at this spectacle. You see your national leadership divided. You hear Prigozhin say, hey, there was no justification for this war, and saying that the incompetent national leadership is the cause of the vast amount of casualties that have been inflicted on the Russians. And I think the chain of command is disrupted. I mean, a former hot dog salesman and convict took over their southern command. In Russia, shot down aircraft, helicopters, and a plane, killed about 20 Russian service members in all of this. And then Putin comes on and says, "Hey, I'm going to have a strong response," and then he cuts a deal, and Prigozhin's off free. And they're going to integrate these Wagner fighters into the Russian army. How's that going to work out?
How is that going to work?
How would that? Yeah.
I mean, as a former lieutenant general in the United States Army or U.S. military, as a former national security advisor, how does that work? I mean, these groups, how do they become one?
It doesn't work, right? So what gives you combat power is confidence, and that confidence comes from cohesion. Soldiers trust. Bonds of trust and respect and commitment to one another that allow them to act courageously in situations that are literally life and death situations. Without that cohesion, units are not combat effective. Also, confidence comes from confidence in leadership. And look at the senior leadership and how inept they are. This guy Shoigu, right? He has no military experience. He's got a chest full of medals, but he hasn't done a damn thing to earn any of those medals. And so he's now, sending out these images of him, poring over maps, and I mean, how is that going to sell with Russian troops? I think not at all. And now factor into that, Tony, the fact that they've lost so many of their junior leaders. You don't pull somebody off the street and make him a company commander or a platoon leader, right? So I really think there's an opportunity here. Combat power is capability times will, and that will comes in large measure from confidence and cohesion. And I'll tell you, I think that the Russian military in Ukraine is under tremendous duress.
And then Prigozhin just poked really serious holes on the reason why the invasion took place in the first place. So you got to question that. Thank you so much, H.R. McMaster. That was a
Thank you,
master
General.
class.
Yes.